Thank you for coming in tonight. I really appreciate it. I have Desiree with us. Desiree is an old friend, and I'm going to introduce her to you, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself. Desiree is an old friend, and I'm going to introduce her to you, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about herself. Desiree is an old friend. Hold on. I'm going to introduce her to you. I think you may have your YouTube open.
My YouTube is open?
Your YouTube is open. You have to mute your YouTube. Go to your YouTube and mute it.
My YouTube is open?
Sorry, guys. Just one second. Go to your YouTube and mute it.
This is when I need,
Sorry, guys. Just one second.
so sorry.
Okay. All right. Just listen a second, you guys.
Sorry.
Okay. Don't worry. All right. Listen a second, you guys.
Sorry.
Okay.
I don't want to cut you off.
Do you know how to get to your YouTube?
I don't want to cut you off. All right, if we get disconnected, I'll call you back.
Hey guys, she's going to try to figure out how to close her YouTube. Thanks for coming in. I'm just going to say hello to some people. Abraham, thank you for coming. Tiffany, thank you, honey. Glenn, Perlini, just crazy race and Sergeant Sport. Thank you so much for the support. And Sandra, Melissa, thank you for coming, sweetheart. I really appreciate you so much. And Joe Bonti, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong. And Antonia and Pamela Lynn. Hello, sweetheart. And let's see, T. Thank you, honey. Thanks for coming in. Joy. Hello, beautiful Joy. Thank you for being here. And my other beautiful Joy. Both my Joys are here. And Kathy, Chris the Goose. Hey, honey. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate everybody coming in. So Desiree had her YouTube on and it was echoing. So she's going to try to, might have to get online with her and help her with that. Desiree and I met when both of our children, will tell you the story, were at Memorial Sloan Kettering undergoing treatment, and we have become best of friends. And I'm gonna give her a call just 1 second and see if she's okay, if she can get back on. So you guys just stand by for me 1 minute. Let's see if she needs some help. Sandy Brown, thank you, honey, for coming in. Okay, did you figure out how to close your YouTube? Okay. 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 All right. Okay. All right.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, yep, the echo's gone, so you got rid of it. I just went down the list and I said hello to a bunch of my friends that are here. I don't know, can you see the list on the right-hand side of the people that are in the chat? I don't know.
No, I can't.
Okay, well, opening up the pop-up chat is a little bit more complicated, so we'll do that another time. But we've got Melissa Cape just came in, my neighbor from Cape Cod, Mass. I just went down and said hello to a lot of these people are my people that support my channel and come to my auctions and come to T and I have coffee with T and Donna on the weekends, every Saturday morning and Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. And yes, so everybody that's in the chat here is basically just friends that just support me. And as you guys know, I'm going to be taking my channel into a little bit of a different direction, which was, oh, thank you, Kelly. Hip Flip and Mama just walked in. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming in. So a lot of you know I've been talking about it for a few months now that I wanted to help support other grieving moms and have them on my channel and let them tell their story, because talking about child loss whether it be from cancer or from a drug overdose or a horrible accident or even stillborns, is devastating. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Desiree introduce herself, and then we're just gonna have a little chat. So Desiree, go ahead, honey, introduce yourself.
Okay, hi guys. I'm Desiree. I'm Talia Castellano and Mattia Castellano's mom. And sorry guys, I'm not a technical savvy. So if my daughter was here, she would know how to do all this stuff. So I apologize for the beginning of the show. But Donna and I met, sadly, but fortunately that she is now in my life. We both met each other in New York when Talia and Denali were both having surgery there. And it's a bittersweet story how we met, but we were both, as you see, pretty much not shy, talkative people. And it was around Halloween back in 2008, and our kids were trick-or-treating on the floor, and we happened to be walking side by side, and I was pushing Talia in a stroller, and Donna was right next to me, and we started talking, and then, I asked her about her son, she asked me about Talia, and then she said, I asked her, where are you from? And she says, from Florida. I said, no, you're not from Florida. Not with that accent. I'm from Boston. I said, I figured that. But she said, now I live in Florida. I said, me too. And right there was just a connection. And then.
Yeah, Talia was actually, so we were just talking about this during the show. So Talia was diagnosed at 7 years old with neuroblastoma in 2007.
Right.
And Denali was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer at 8 years old in 2008. So Talia had already had a year's worth of treatment and surgeries, and we both ended up at the best hospital in the world, Memorial Sloan Kettering. We both from Florida, and we both had the same doctor, Dr. LaQuaglia. Which he's like world renowned. I mean, people, dignitaries. We were very lucky to have Dr. LaQuaglia be our doctor. It was just a matter of fate, really, for us both. Dignitaries from all over the world bring their children to Memorial Sloan Kettering. They actually have a dignitary floor where those families stay that come there for treatment. And so Denali was preparing for surgery. Denali wasn't with us when we met. I had my two girls. My daughters, we were trick-or-treating. Talia was in the wheelchair, but Denali was doing all his pre-op stuff. He couldn't go trick-or-treating. The kids miss so much, and the siblings go through so much. So you try to make it as normal for them as possible, even if that means walking through the hallways in a wheelchair. And they include the siblings. The child life. Child life is a part of the pediatric floor that helps families with anything that you need help with to make the children as comfortable as they can. And Child Life at Memorial Sloan Kettering is phenomenal. It's a huge organization, and they're great. And so then we ended up on the same floor. We saw each other again in the parents' room, which is a room that they have set up where parents can go in and get a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, or they give you a little section in the refrigerator if you want to put your food in. And Desiree and I met again on the floor, and so we started chatting again, and then we would take turns visiting each other. We were literally 5, 6 maybe rooms around the corner from each other. And when you're with a sick child for hours and hours on end in the room, sometimes it's nice to just escape for a minute. And I'd go and sit with Talia and Desiree, or she would come into my room, and if Talia was sleeping, and she would sit with me and Denali, and we would just support each other as much as we could, and just do that and go back and forth to our rooms. And Talia was always doing crafts.
Yeah.
Always doing crafts.
very creative. And
she was so creative and always doing crafts. And just so that you guys know, I don't know if everybody on here knows, but Talia started a YouTube channel, and her motto was, "Wigs is my makeup." She
makeup
hated-
is my wig.
Makeup is my wig. Sorry. Go
That's
ahead, Desiree. You tell that story.
Oh, well, Talia didn't like wigs. They were hot and they itched, and she just didn't feel like herself wearing a wig.
And this is Talia's sister. I just wanted to highlight this is Talia's sister. Yes, thank you for coming in, honey. Hello, beautiful. Hello, beautiful girl.
I don't know if you saw at the beginning, but Mommy messed up.
She did great. She did great. We all messed
up. But yeah, so Talia didn't like wigs, and so that's when she got into makeup, and she said makeup is my wig, because when she had makeup on, she didn't think anyone was looking at her bald head. They were just looking at her beautiful eyes, or how she contoured her face or her lips or something. So that's what she said, makeup is my wig. Yeah.
And so she started doing makeup tutorials on YouTube. And she and a bunch of really creative Hollywood stars discovered her while she was doing her makeup tutorials on YouTube. And her YouTube channel grew to be 2 million.
It was over 2 million.
Strong.
Yeah.
2 million people strong, her YouTube channel. And she would do these adorable little, and she would talk about her disease. And
she was very candid.
She was so full of energy. Yeah. So full of energy. And she was so full of energy. And Denali, my son, was the opposite. He was very serious, very conservative. And he would, I would say to him, "Oh, Talia and Desiree are going to come, and they're going to come down and spend the weekend with us." And Denali would be like, "They're not coming for me. They're coming for you." Like he would be. I remember when Talia died, I said to Desiree, I said, "I'm sure he's up there with all his little friends hiding behind clouds with the Nerf guns." And Talia walked through the pearly gates, sprinkling glitter everywhere that she walked, because that's who Talia was. She just walked and she left a trail of glitter. And I just know Denali was like hiding behind the clouds saying, "She's here. Quick, shoot her," with the Nerf guns, and running, hiding behind the clouds, because they were so completely the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Desiree and I fell in love with each other, and we've been friends, really close friends. Try to see each other as often as we can. We're only 2.5 hours away from each other, but sometimes it's just hard to even, with life is so busy, because Desiree, Desiree has a Talia's Legacy, which is a phenomenal foundation. And I'm going to let her talk a little bit about that, but tell us about CoverGirl. Tell us about the picture behind.
Yeah, you can see the picture right here. Which way? Right there. It's opposite. So Talia was a makeup artist, self-taught, and she just, her dream was to meet Ellen and do Ellen's makeup. And so Ellen said, "We'd love to meet Talia." So Talia was on her show in September 12th of 2012, and that's where Ellen presented her to be an honorary CoverGirl. And Talia went on to do 2 makeup tutorials for the CoverGirl. And I remember the time that sitting right here in this room, Ellen asked Talia if she would like to be her correspondent on the iHeartRadio Music Festival in Las Vegas. And of course, that was like amazing. And of course, Talia said yes. And so that's another story in itself. But yes, Talia was self-taught. I remember when she was 7 years old, and she would put this thick eyebrows on. Of course, she didn't have any, so she would pencil them in, and she would ask me how she looked. And of course, I'm going to say, "You look gorgeous." And but they were just like so dark and straight. And and she used to just play with the makeup. And people would ask me, why are you letting her wear makeup? And I asked our oncologist one day, I'm like, well, what do I do? I mean, should I just let her? And he said, yeah, just let her be. And so look what she became. She became, a face of CoverGirl. And you just don't get to be that way just because you're bald. She had talent and she was
and
amazing.
personality.
Oh, absolutely. And personality, amazing
Wow.
personality.
Her personality was just, it was off the charts, her personality.
It was.
Yeah.
So it was an amazing time for her, and we're so grateful for Ellen because Talia did get to do some amazing things. When she went on the Ellen show, Talia had 2 kinds of cancers. She had the neuroblastoma and the MDS, which is a pre-leukemia from all the other, because she had so many chemotherapies and the radiation, she developed a secondary cancer. So
which happens to a lot of people, a lot of kids, and adults too. They try to kill one type of cancer, and the chemotherapy that they're giving you gives you a different type of cancer. Right. So I remember that video. I remember she was sitting out on the lanai, and she told the world that she had just gotten the news that she had a secondary cancer.
Yeah, at the same time, which is not so common. It's usually you can beat one cancer and then a year later, so many years later, you can get a secondary, but she had 2 at the same time. So to juggle both was very, very difficult. And when she went on the Ellen show and, Ellen asked, well, how do you stay so positive? And she said, well, little fishy told me, just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
And for the longest time, Ellen would say that.
Yeah.
The longest time, Ellen would say that. A little friend told me to just keep swimming, keep swimming. And she was referring to Talia, when she would say that in her shows.
Yeah. So we're forever grateful for Ellen and all the opportunities that Talia received. And again, Talia worked hard. She worked hard for everything she did get. I mean,
as sick as she was.
Exactly.
Excuse me. As sick as she was, she would do the videos and edit them. They were just awesome
videos. Yeah, she was very good at editing. She did not like editing. Either you love it or you don't. But she did it. She did it all, and she was just amazing. And her legacy continues to help other children. That's what she wanted. And so we have what's called Glam Wars, which Talia started. She had a second wish. And so she wanted other girls to experience how she felt when she had makeup on. So she was able to give 6 other girls a complete makeover and a whole $100 worth of makeup. And then she took them out to lunch. And she said she felt accomplished and she felt so amazing that she was able to help other girls feel what she felt when she had makeup on. So that's where Glam Wars, which is the war against childhood cancer using makeup. So Glam Wars started, she started it, and now we travel around the country and we teach girls about makeup, and we give them a nice Glam Wars bag full of all kinds of makeup. They get eyeshadow and mascara and blush and lipstick, and so it's a whole full face makeup foundation as well. And so that's the legacy that she left behind, one of them. So we started her foundation.
Desiree and some of her volunteers, including her daughter, they go to all different hospitals. Wherever they reach out to hospitals, and if they're invited to come, they'll go. They'll jump on a plane, they'll drive, they'll do whatever they have to do, and they'll go and they get together, the little girls, and they put makeup on them, and yeah, it's really awesome. So if you guys want to support Talia's legacy, so I'll try to, I'm so bad at dropping links, but I'll try to put a link at the end of this video. Desiree also, she sells these candles once a year, and my son's name is there right at the top. You see it, Denali Botolino? And she sells these as part of her fundraising also. And I think there's still some of these. I asked you. There's still some of these available. I know.
But we
Carol wanted one.
Shirts. Last night was the Beacon. The Beacon is a 4-story building in Lake Nona, Florida.
Do you have a picture that you can pull up on your phone and hold it up to the screen and show them what the Beacon is?
Oh, I do. And I'm going to show you the shirt. And every year we do post on the Facebook page, which is Tally's Legacy Children's Cancer Foundation. And people from all over send in their child's name who passed away from cancer. And it's projected on this 4-story building, which is amazing, which is the event we had last night. But here is the shirt from this year. So it has angel wings.
Yeah.
Children's names on it.
I have my shirt right here. This one was from last year.
That was last year.
Yep, this one was from last year, and I know there's so many names, you guys. I know Denali's name is here somewhere. You always seem to put him right at the very top, right above the ribbon.
Yeah.
Which to me, that's like such a special spot to have. I can't find it right now, but his name is on here. There's so many. There he is. There's my son's name. Denali Botolino. There he is. Yeah. So she makes these great shirts.
Yeah.
As part of the foundation, which I love. And I still try to give back as much as I can to, in memory of my son, in memory of Talia and all the other kids that have been lost. You don't, I think that one of the saddest things that you could probably do is just walk through an oncology floor in any hospital and see those, I never, it's, I had seen the St. Jude commercials before my son got diagnosed over and over and over again. And I used to always think, oh, cute little bald kids, not really think about it. But it's so much bigger than that. So much bigger than that. They're not always all cute little bald kids. These kids, what they go through, they're true warriors. I mean, I know my son, what he had to go through. My son fought an old man's disease. Pancreatic cancer is an old man's disease, really. That's what they refer to it as. And it's, it devastates the siblings. It devastates the families. It devastates us financially and mentally and all of it. And, a couple of things happened in the past couple of days, and it's like, oh, you've got to have thick skin. You've got to have thick skin. I think when a tragedy, like watching your child die a very barbaric death, and that's what I call it. It's a very barbaric death. I think that when that happens and something mean happens in your life, you kind of, it's almost like I feel like, and I know Desiree feels the same way, because sometimes things happen to her too. And we've talked about this. It's like, we've experienced enough mean to last 1,000 lifetimes. So yeah, I just, it doesn't it amplify it like by 1,000% when something happens, and, oh my gosh, I just got I don't have, let me see. Flippin' Sense just gave me, $100 super chat for the cause. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was so sweet. That is awesome. Thank you. Flippin' Sense and $2. Thank you, Kelly, for texting me.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh my! I didn't have the I had the other super chat, the StreamYard super chat on. I didn't have the actual YouTube one. That is so sweet. Thank you so much. See, people are so generous. People are so generous. Even during my auctions, people will buy things from me and say, "Donate it to the kids. Donate it to the kids." It's just so incredible, and they're helping my family, and then they're allowing me to help the cause also. So, it happened yesterday. Someone bought a whole big lot of stuffed animals from me, and she hasn't, I haven't billed her yet, but she wants to pay for them, and then she wants me to donate them. So it's it's a great community of friends. It's a great community of friends. Desiree, tell us a little bit about how Talia's death has impacted you, your daughter, your marriage, your life.
Wow, I don't think we have enough time for all that, but we should definitely have Mattia come on your show.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a sibling. I'm gonna do a sibling show.
Yeah, definitely a sibling show because I think, well, I know, you know, the siblings, they really don't understand. They do understand, but people don't really understand how it impacts them as well. So I think that's really could be another good show. But definitely a little bit about that is when Talia was 7, Mattia was what, 13. I mean, 13, come on. I mean, that's your starting your teenage years. And for 6.5 years, I wasn't here. I mean, we were traveling back and forth to New York, and then we were in stem cell for months and months, back and forth before that to collect our stem cells, and then during stem cell treatment and back again. And then we were in Philadelphia every 3 weeks for treatment, or if we weren't over there, we were in the hospital. So Mattia was really alone, not alone. I mean, she had her stepdad, but basically her mom wasn't there. I mean, she did have a cousin here, which is my cousin, but it's not the same. I mean, I missed, the proms and the dances and the special events, and I mean all that. I mean, she missed with me and me with her, and so that's just a whole nother just segment there. And then, yeah, financially, I mean, Donna could tell you. I mean,
One of the saddest stories that I can tell you was that we were in New York City, and we couldn't afford to stay in a hotel. So my husband and I had already been out of work for a long time, in and out of the hospital with our son. And we couldn't afford a hotel in the Upper East Side of Manhattan. That's where Memorial Sloan Kettering is, like where the wealthy of the wealthy are. I mean, you can't stay in the Upper East Side of Manhattan in a hotel unless you're rich, really. I mean, it's a privilege to stay there. It's where the movie stars live. And the Ronald McDonald House, that's a whole story in itself, too. The Ronald McDonald House turned us away. And the reason why they turned us away was because I didn't want to leave my kids home. Like this, I'm talking about the first time we went to New York, because we went several times. The first time we went to New York, I literally pulled the kids out of school. I locked up the house. I had to leave Boston with friends, and we got in the car and we drove just like pioneers crossing the country, because they had told us that Denali had 2 months to live. And we found Dr. LaQuaglia, who said, come, bring him to me. Let me take a look and see if there's anything that I can do. So we didn't have any place to stay. And it was a very famous man who lives here in Palm Beaches that has a beautiful apartment in the Upper East Side of Manhattan, who heard about our story, and he allowed us to stay in his gorgeous 2-bedroom apartment at a plaza. It was a plaza where there was a man standing outside the plaza that opened up the doors for the people pulling up to come into the plaza. And then you walked in, and it was a revolving door, and there was a man in the lobby of the plaza greeting you, and there was another person like in the elevator pushing the buttons for you, which Massimo, he wasn't always there, and Massimo and Denali would push all the buttons on all the elevators. It was a really tall building. Anyways, so that's one of the good memories. So Desiree called me, or I called her. She was staying at the Ronald McDonald House. Ronald McDonald House wouldn't let us stay with them because I got off track, because we were a family of 6, and it was a pre-war building, and they only had occupancy for 4 people per room. And so I called the head of the Ronald McDonald Foundation, which I think was in Philadelphia, to get special permission to get 2 rooms since we were a family of 6. And they told us to leave our kids at home and to just come husband and wife and Denali. And I said, I'm not leaving my kids with anybody. I don't leave my kids under normal circumstances. My kids were little, Desiree. Remember, my girls were only 6 and 7 years old. They were babies. And I said, I'm not leaving my kids with anybody. You know, I'm taking my kids with me. So we ended up staying at the Plaza. And Desiree was at the Ronald McDonald's house, and she got some free time. I got some free time, and we said, let's go to Starbucks and go get a cup of coffee. And both of us were broke. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Both of us were broke because pediatric cancer can do that to a family. And I remember standing in line at Starbucks, and Desiree looks at me and she says to me, I'm sorry, Donna. She said, I want to have a cup of coffee. She says, but I only have enough money for just a cup of coffee. And I remember looking in my wallet, and I didn't have enough money for a cup of coffee. And I was like looking in my wallet, and I scrounged up like $2.50 to be able to have a cup of coffee with a friend. That's how bad it is. Like, people don't realize just the impact that it has on families. And then to recuperate from that, we're still trying to recuperate from that.
Yeah.
You know, to recuperate from that is also very, very devastating.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
people don't understand,
And
you know.
people think the Ronald McDonald is free, and it's not. You know,
That's a whole show in itself.
That's yeah, exactly. So no, we were paying for the Ronald McDonald. It was like $1,000 a month. We were paying for taxis and food. It became winter. We had to get winter clothes, and that went on for 6 years. Not just in New York, but also in Philadelphia. And I mean, if you can just imagine that. I mean, the flying, the traveling, the food, the everything. I mean, I wasn't working, and well, we don't have to get into that so much. I guess you guys get the picture. It's
draining. It's absolutely draining.
You would do it all over again, and you do whatever you could to save your child. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
So
and it's not even that, you know. I mean, I don't know how poor families do it, because I mean, not that my husband and I or you were, you know, rich, let's say, but we were comfortable, right? Comfortable middle class families, comfortable, and it just totally just drains you. It just drains you. So yeah, it takes away your children. It takes away your finances. It takes away so much. You know, it really, really does. It just takes away so much. And then to recover from that, you always see like quotes that say, there's no time for, you know, grieving has no time. Well, recovery really has no time either. I mean, it can take forever to recover from something like that, a whole lifetime to recover. And I don't even know if we ever will recover, to be honest with you, from it. I'm not talking about, you know, just losing the child, but the financial hardship that goes with it. Because it's hard. There's a lot of parents. Desiree is a strong, powerful, smart, beautiful woman who will do whatever it takes to provide for herself, her family, and I'm gonna say I do too. I do whatever I need to do to help provide for my family. But there's a lot of parents that can't do that. They're on the couch. They're taking drugs.
Yeah.
They can't do it.
Or couples together, and then one can't handle it and leaves the other person holding everything, you know, a sick child and no job. And I mean, there's some really bad situations, sadly. I mean, cancer, you know, affects, you know, the whole family.
I think the last time I checked, the divorce rate in couples that lost their child to some sort of illness or tragedy was like 96%. I mean, the divorce rate is like through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still happily married. Desiree's still happily married. Well, most of the time we're happily married. Most of the time.
Watching. But
Everybody has their moments.
I had remarried about I don't even know the time, 8 to 9 months into my marriage, and Talia got diagnosed with cancer. So we really didn't even have like a honeymoon. It was just bye. I was gone a lot. So
yeah, Desiree had just married her husband, and you had just moved into a brand new, beautiful home. And it was only just 6-7 months later, Talia got diagnosed, and she had to leave. She had to hit the road. She had to go to New York and
everywhere. So I left, my husband home. It was so. Could you imagine just getting married and then 6.5 years, I was gone most of the time. But
for 6.5 years, you guys, she fought for 6.5 years. Nolly fought for 27 months, but Talia fought for 6.5 years. And
we went through a lot. I mean, 4 relapses, and I can't tell you how many surgeries, and chemo and radiation, and but she always smiled. And one thing about these kids, Talia didn't complain, and she had 2 types of cancers, and she would say, "Mom, why do people complain?" And she said, "I have 2 types of cancers. I don't even complain." And she was just like, I guess because life was going to be short, and she's like, "Why are you wasting time complaining?" I remember one time she called me up and she goes, "Mom, I'm in a helicopter." I'm like, "What?" It was Mattia and Leah. They went out to Dave and Buster's over there by International Drive towards me. And she saw a helicopter pad, and they were taking helicopter rides. And she told Leah, "Let's go over there." And Leah says, "At the helicopter?" She goes, yeah, let's go. She goes, "Okay." And then they get on, and she called me up. She goes, "Mom, I'm in a helicopter." I'm like, "Oh my God, really?" And so we have pictures of that, and we have the video, and she was just full of life, and she was going to take in as much as she could. And she didn't sleep. I'm like, "Talia, I'm so tired. I got to go to sleep. It's like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning." And she'd be up on her laptop making deals, talking to, companies. And I'm like, I can't, I gotta go to sleep, but she just wanted to embrace every moment she could and get as much in as she could. And she did, and she enjoyed life, and she didn't complain. And I mean, yeah, if she was hurting, she was, "Mom, I don't feel well." I said, "You need to go to the hospital?" And she'd say, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, let's go." But she didn't really complain. Time for that.
You see who just popped into the room?
Who?
Melissa.
Oh, Melissa. Hi,
Melissa. Melissa's here.
Sweetie. Hi, Melissa, honey. I love you. Oh, she's a sweetie. Oh, she used to talk to Talia. That's how I met Melissa. I met amazing friends because of Talia. And through YouTube, through Instagram, of course, all her friends that I'm with, and of course, I'm still friends with them and their moms too, and all because of this little one up here, Talia, and so I met Talia through Melissa. So it's amazing, and Sandra, and just so many other people. I mean,
so many people followed her and loved her.
Yeah.
You're really fortunate that Talia did have all that sparkle and all that energy and all that. So it helps remind you of the happy memories. I have the opposite, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I do. Denali was, he wouldn't say things to me like, "Oh, I have cancer. Why is that person so upset? Look at me." He wouldn't say. He he would say the opposite to me. He'd say, why did this happen to me? Why am I going through this? Why, was I a bad little boy? Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my God. He would
I
like
know.
the things he would say to me, and you just didn't have the answers. He was so sick, so sick. And like Talia, so sick. But he was,
Talia did say that a couple times. Why did I get it? Why didn't you get it? Why didn't Mattia get it? Why did I get it? I mean, she did ask those questions. I mean, I think that would be a normal question. Why me?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. He
but
used to ask that all the time.
and our heart, it was like as a mother, it was like, what do you say?
How do you answer?
Yeah, how do you answer that? And I would just answer the truth. I don't know, Talia. I don't
I
know.
would just always tell him to go to sleep, and that's the only way that he would heal.
Mhm.
That's what I would say to him.
Mhm.
I'd say, go to sleep, buddy. I go to sleep, sweet boy. I said, you've got to heal, and the only way you can heal is if you rest. If you rest, and it'll make you feel better. So,
Hmm.
unfortunately, I still don't have like the fond memories. Every once in a while, I'll have a fond memory, but my fond memories are kind of buried with the tragedy. I think, and I'm waiting, and I also believe that I haven't started grieving yet. It's been
Oh,
6 years.
yeah, I feel the same.
I have not started grieving yet. I haven't given myself the chance to grieve my son's loss. 3 months after he died, just like you with Talia's legacy, I opened up a thrift shop. And unfortunately, after 5 years, it failed. I tried so hard to keep it open, and it failed. So I didn't have a chance to grieve because I was just so involved. I was working 70, 80 hours a week trying to keep that shop afloat and keep it going and keep it beautiful. And it was so much work. I mean,
Well,
Desiree knows.
Donna, I would not. I mean, I can't say to you how to feel, but what I see, what you did to help other people, I don't call that a failure because when you had your store, you helped so many people. So I always tell Talia, you take that negative, you got to turn it into that positive. Look at all those years you had that store and all those many people that you helped.
I know, but it was devastating to close it. Thank you for saying that, and thank you for giving me that reminder. But I think that you would feel the same way if you had to close Talia's legacy one day, and you couldn't go on anymore, and the funding stopped, and you didn't have the money to continue on, which you
Yeah,
would probably feel the same way.
I would probably feel some of that, but then again, I've tried to teach myself to always try to look for more of the positive than than having the feeling of not feeling that way, if that makes sense.
That's an art.
Yeah,
I admire you
work on
that
that.
you always try to find the positive in everything. You do, Desiree. You
Yes.
have that gift. And that is truly a gift.
But you
Unfortunately,
have to work on that. It's not that I just got it. You have to work like learning another language. You have to reprogram yourself to try to think differently. That's all. But no, I don't. In my eyes, don't think it was a failure because you helped so many people. And had you not had that store, look at all those lives that you wouldn't have touched. So,
thank you, honey. Thank you for saying that. See, you guys, see how she finds the positive in everything?
well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I am definitely going to have Desiree on again because we do have a lot that we want to share and we want to talk about, and I want to talk more about Talia's legacy and maybe some more about the Ellen show and the room makeover. She's in Talia's room right now, and Talia had a room makeover, and that was pretty awesome. I want to hear all about that. And
Yes, we have so much to talk about, but I'm sure there'll be a part 2 and a 3 and a 4.
yeah, I'll have you back on again. I'll
Yeah.
have you back on again.
Yeah.
I have next week I have another grieving mom who has a huge Facebook page that is coming on, and then the week after that I have Live Like Bella, which is a little girl from Miami. Her mom, Shauna, I believe, is coming on. She hasn't confirmed yet, but she loved my idea and wanted to come and support the channel and come on and talk to us. And so we've been on for 45 minutes. I told Desiree we wouldn't stay on for more than an hour. She's exhausted. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I'm still not feeling well. For those of you, Carol, thank you. Carol, you are the most generous. These are my people. Desiree, you know what? You guys are unbelievable. Carol just gave me a $49 super chat. You know what, Carol, you're unbelievable.
Thank you, Carol. That's sweet.
Huh?
I said that was very sweet. Thank you.
She's honest to God. She is just.
Oh, wait! I got Bella
It
here.
looks like Bella. It looks like Bella. Wait, she has you.
Bella here. Come
Your
here,
Bella. Look, get her. It's Talia's dog.
Come here. She's tired. She's 10
How old is Bella now?
She's 10 now.
Yeah, Boston's 10 too.
Is she here?
Boston just turned 10.
Is
Boston is Denali's dog.
She looks like her. Carol's
I
dog.
know it.
Look. Say hi, Bella. This was Talia's dog. That's another.
Look at it, almost identical.
I know.
Almost identical.
Yeah, we can talk about how we got Bella too, and there's just so much to talk about.
So much to talk about.
So much to talk about, right, Bella?
I don't know if anybody in the audience has any questions for Desiree or for me. If you guys, she does look like my friend Bolo Buddies is here. She's another just good friend.
Oh.
Yeah, her name's Courtney. She's wonderful, and James is awesome too. You guys are all awesome.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to come back now.
Yeah, you know what? I have got such a great support of people. Like I really, really do. Like all of these new friends of mine. You just you wouldn't believe it. Is she a Bichon? No, she's a poodle. Yeah, she's a poodle. I know that.
Yeah, 100% poodle. Yeah, because we wanted to get something that was a dog that was hyperallergenic, so we got Bella. Yeah. You ready to go back to sleep?
Did Claire do a $5 super chat? I don't know. She said $5 from Claire. I didn't see it, but Claire.
Oh, Claire Mahan. Hi,
Claire. Yeah, Claire. Hi, honey.
She's the biggest. I don't want to call her fan anymore, because before I knew her, but she's our friend. She's been here. She stayed with us, and she knows everything about Talia. She absolutely adores Talia. She posts about Talia, and she has an Instagram about Talia, and she posts on Facebook, and I just love her to death. Hi, Claire. You're so sweet.
Yes, she did. She gave a $5 super chat. Claire, you're so sweet. Thank you, honey. Thank you so much. That really helps a lot. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I don't know. There's 31 people in the chat. I don't know if this idea of mine of having, grieving parents, screaming moms, there's nothing like it on the internet. I looked. There's no one that's like interviewing other parents that lost children. And like I said, it doesn't have to be about cancer. It can be any kind of child loss. And there's nothing like that on the internet. And I don't know if there's nothing like that on the internet because it's not a good idea, or there's nothing like that on the internet because no one is brave enough to make a channel to invite grieving parents on, because I know, like on my Facebook group, you know, the memories that come up on your Facebook group, my memory yesterday from a year ago yesterday, and I remember this night. We were invited out to go to dinner to some new friend's house, and there was also another couple there. These were brand new friends to us. They knew nothing. They really knew nothing about us. They were friends of ours that we had become friends through our daughters playing on the same volleyball club, and so the woman that owned the house knew that we had a child that had died of cancer. She knew that. The other couple that was there, they didn't know. And so she said to me, how many kids do you have? And I said, I have 4, which I always say I have 4, even though I have 3 earthly children and 1 in heaven. And then she asked me a little bit about the kids, and I told him about the girls, the accomplishments, and my son and the accomplishments. And I never said anything about Denali, and she never asked me about my 4th child that I didn't speak of. Maybe she wasn't paying attention to what I was talking about. I don't know. But I walked away from that feeling horrible that I had to keep Denali's. I didn't want to ruin the night. We were having such a good time. And when you mention to someone that your child died of a barbaric cancer, it ruins the night. Everybody starts to feel sorry for you, and so I hated that I didn't speak of Denali and that he had died of cancer. But sometimes I just find myself that I hate to say it, but it's kind of like not appropriate or just doesn't fit into the conversation. Do you ever feel like that, Desiree?
I do. I think there's, a time and a place. Maybe not, And I remember you telling me that story.
You do remember?
Oh, yeah.
I tell Desiree everything.
How you felt that.
It was an awful feeling to walk away at the end of the night and have to keep my son's death a secret to spare feelings of strangers so that I didn't make anybody feel uncomfortable and bad. That's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible, horrible feeling to not be able to openly talk about a loved one, someone that you miss so terribly.
Yes.
So
you're gonna find yourself in different situations, and yeah, I don't know. I think there's going to be awkward situations, and sometimes you say something and sometimes you don't. It's just part of living with a child who is not here on earth anymore. They're in heaven, and we just have to live with that. And we're going to come into different situations again.
I think that's a question. I think that's a question I'm going to ask. I think that's a question sorry, I got distracted by a message. I think that's a question I'm going to ask every mom or dad that comes on if they've ever had to do that. Because I just want to tell you that is one of the hardest things to have to do, is not talk about your child. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think yeah. But again, it depends on the situation and where you are and who you're talking to.
I'm talking about a situation where you're talking about your children.
Yeah, it's hard.
And you can't mention your heavenly child.
Yeah, it's hard. It doesn't matter. It's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah,
it's all hard.
It's
yeah. Bit of it.
Yeah, it is.
And going through their things and deciding what you're going to keep, what you're going to move, what you're not going to move. I mean, I know Desiree's, Talia's room, it's And 5 years for Talia?
6.
6?
Mm-hmm.
So
July
it's 7.
6
So it's
years.
7 for Denali.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it affects us no matter what, in every way, every day.
Yeah.
You go into a store, oh, that reminds you of Denali or, Talia.
Well, with me, what makes it really tough is that everything is sold in fours. Well, most things are sold in fours. Like I remember, we had a toothbrush holder with the 4 slots in it. There's 4 slots. Toothbrush holders have 4 slots, and it fell off the counter in the bathroom, and it broke. And I needed to go buy a new toothbrush holder. And this was years ago. We have
Yeah.
electric toothbrushes now. This was years ago, and I needed it for the kids' bathroom. So I need, they all had 4 slots.
Yeah.
And now I only have 3 kids. They don't sell toothbrush holders with just 3 holes. I could have got a cup, but you get fixated on they're all 4 slots, and I remember being in like TJ Maxx or Marshalls or something and just having like a total breakdown over buying a toothbrush holder because it had 4 slots. Or another thing that I remember is going. The kids used to love ice cream sandwiches. I don't know the name of them. I think they were the Klondike ones, and they come packed 4. And I would buy one as a treat, one for each child. And
Well,
ice cream sandwiches. I have 3 kids now. I have 4. I have 4 kids, but I have 3 earthly kids. It's like things like that, like people don't realize can set you off and ruin an entire day.
yeah.
An entire day. It can drown you in sorrow, something like buying ice cream sandwiches or a toothbrush holder.
Right. Well, that's called post-traumatic, what is it? PTSD, post-traumatic stress.
I won't give into that. And I won't give into it. I won't give into it. I bet if I went to the doctor tomorrow, or if you went to the doctor tomorrow, you'd be diagnosed with it in a half a heartbeat. But I won't give into it. I won't. I won't give into it.
It's the little triggers that trigger everything that just, remind you of it. And it's an everyday, and it's something that we live with. So yeah, it's not easy. But
It never will be.
It never will be. But, I keep going for my daughter, Mattia, and I just say, keep swimming. And that's what I do. And I help, of course, other kids like Talia. And that, brings me joy to see them happy and put a smile on their face, and their parents, watching their parents smile, and being happy because their kid's happy, so that brings me joy. And
such a great feeling.
Yeah, to give back. And
such a great feeling. I'm getting ready to do another run up to the hospital with I bought a whole warehouse full of toys and clothes, and I sold off enough just to pay for the warehouse, just to pay for the cost of it. And now the rest of it is all going to the hospital. I'm so excited. I'm going to do it for probably Halloween. I'm not going to do it for Christmas because I don't usually donate to the hospital at Christmas time because everybody donates at Christmas.
That's true. And
everybody donates at Christmas. All the big organizations, they all flood the hospital, but nobody thinks of the kids at Halloween and all the other holidays that they're spending the day in the hospital and they can't go out trick or treating.
Yeah, do Glam Wars. We don't usually go during the winter months because of the flu season. So we usually start in April and end probably like the beginning of October, end of September, because of the flu season. So they're getting, makeup bags and goodie bags from us during that time. But we do bring something for Christmas, but they do get something throughout the year. But I agree with you, Donna.
I do it just because.
Yeah.
Like the last load of stuff, it wasn't even a holiday. It was just because,
Right.
just because, just take it just because. So do you have to have flu shots when you go into you have to make sure you have to have
Yeah.
flu shot papers to go to
Yeah.
the hospital?
They recommend that we definitely get the flu shot, and yeah, and of course we want to make sure that we're okay, but we don't go usually during the flu season. They don't want us to come, but we do send out goodie bags. Yeah. So someone saying something, Donna?
Yeah, it says my daughter is one of the strongest women I know. She has lost 2 sons at 2 different times, and I don't know how she copes.
Oh wow. Ooh,
Yeah,
that's she had 2 sons that she lost.
yeah.
Oh wow.
And your beautiful daughter saying thank you all for the support.
Yes. So we all give back in different ways. And I always say, not one organization or not one person can do everything. If everyone just gave just a little bit, and again, not monetary, it doesn't have to be monetarily, but whatever you can do to help someone, a child or an adult or somebody, an elderly person, if someone just does a little bit, you know, then we all can help each other. And I think we, would be in a good place.
Yep. And on that note, we've been on for an hour, and Desiree was like, I think I can only do like a half an hour. So I said, don't worry, the hour's
Let
going to
me
go
tell
by
you, but
really fast.
and I'll tell you why, because the month of September is National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And we had so many events booked every weekend. And last night we were at the Beacon, and the weekend before that, something was going on. We have this gigantic Ferris wheel here called the Orlando Eye. It went gold, and we have this beautiful fountain downtown Orlando that went gold. And we are always so busy, but in September. But not to say that childhood cancer needs to be recognized 365 days a year. So, but yes, we had a busy month. So
Do you have your phone handy? Can you show
I
us a picture
do.
of the beacon?
Of the Beacon. Okay.
Yeah, show us a picture of the beacon. So, Desiree, you organize this every year, right? You organize this that
Yeah.
this gets
Yeah.
projected on a building, and
Yeah.
it's really really cool. And I know last year there was a little bit of a malfunction, but did everything go well this year?
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, hold it straight up, a little bit closer. It's too
See it?
bright.
Yeah.
No,
Too
you can't
bright.
see it. Can't see it.
Can't see. It's too bright. Okay.
It's too bright.
Well,
But it's a little bit tilt it a little bit. Tilt it. Maybe the other way. Well, yeah, there you go. You could start. Well, go back the other way. So, you can't see it, but it has the pancreatic. I always say pancreatic because that's what my son had.
yeah.
The pediatric ribbon, and it has all of the children's names, just like the candle does.
Right.
So imagine this projected on a building, and she organizes that every year.
Well,
And
not
she also,
me, but everyone that it helps with Talia's legacy.
yeah, but
Our
you're
yeah.
yeah, but you're the backbone behind it. And then she has a pet walk every year
Yeah,
in Natalia's memory.
it's coming up the 29th, which is leap year.
And that was Talia's idea. I was actually there. I think we were at Fort Wilderness. We were at Fort Wilderness. We were sitting out on the patio at Fort Wilderness. We were together, Desiree's family and my family. We took the kids to Fort Wilderness, and we were sitting out on the patio, and Talia came up with this idea, like out of nowhere, that she wanted to do a pet walk, that she wanted to do like a fundraiser where people could like come and walk around Lake. What is it, Lake or
Lake Eola?
yeah, yeah, and walk around. It's a beautiful lake in Orlando with a big fountain in the middle of it. And don't they usually turn the lights yellow on the
Yeah,
fountain
that
too?
was us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Well, it's Orlando Goes Gold is our hashtag. But
oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's Talia's idea, and so some of the proceeds go to the pet therapy program at Arnold Palmer Hospital where she passed away, and they actually allowed her to have Bella on her, in her room on her bed the last couple months before she passed away.
Yeah.
So we give back to the pet therapy program, and it's a great event. Where this year we're going to have a dunk tank and cotton candy and a petting zoo, and it's going to be an amazing event. So
Yeah, it was awesome. Yep. My friend Courtney said post it in your group. I will. I'll post it. I'll have Desiree send me a picture of it and I'll post it. But yeah, I remember sitting out there. I was having my coffee. We were sitting at the picnic bench out in we had one of the cabins there at Fort Wilderness, and Talia came up with that idea, and I was like, oh, okay.
yeah.
That's a nice idea. I was like, and then I was like,
So
dream on, little girl, like you have such great ideas. Like she always is thinking, always thinking and always thinking of doing something. But Desiree, and you turned it into a reality for her, and you did it.
Sadly, she never got to see it happen. I mean, she passed away before we could ever, and that's another thing. That's another, situation. You're in the fight, and you're fighting to keep, your child alive, and you don't have time to go out and fundraise or do this or do that. It was just, and then when she passed away, we started, Talia's Legacy Foundation to help other kids like her. And like I said, all the programs that we do is she started them. So it's her legacy that she left behind to help other kids.
She also left behind a bucket list.
Yeah, she did.
Someday you'll have to read us what's on the bucket list when I have you back on another time, Desiree.
I'll be back on.
And you can tell us what's on the bucket list, and you can tell us what you've completed on the bucket list, what you've done, because she's done a lot. She's done a lot of Talia's bucket list. Talia actually wrote a bucket list literally on her deathbed, that sweet child, right? She was like in her final weeks when she wrote the bucket list, was it? Do you remember? I don't know.
I wouldn't say her final days, but when she knew that her time was short, she started writing.
She started a bucket list. It's got 20 items on it, 21 items. How many things are on that? How many?
Yeah, you could actually Google it. I think people can.
Oh, you can?
Yeah. It's on. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So cool. And Melissa is dropping links to Talia's Legacy Children's Cancer Foundation. Melissa is one of my moderators. She is phenomenal. Melissa, you are unbelievable. You know that? Look at, she went and grabbed the link. So you guys click on the link, and you can learn all about Desiree and foundation, and any way you can help, that would be awesome. Any way you can contribute. I mean, you may have, these are a bunch of resellers. So you may have new makeup that you might be able to donate to Desiree, because she has to buy makeup. And some of these people, they buy pallets of things, so, you might have makeup, or you might have makeup cases, or, something that she can use for her foundation.
As long as it's not used, we are open to take donations for that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Donna, so much for having me.
Thank you. Stay on while I say goodbye to everybody. Don't exit. I want to talk to you for a second. You guys, thank you so much for staying on with me. And I can donate makeup. Oh, Carol. Carol is so generous.
Makeup. Okay.
Yeah, she's got a bunch of makeup.
Like a little Bella.
Yeah, she's such a sweetheart. She's in New York. Actually, she just moved to the Jersey Shore.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So, James Cisco said, bye, everyone. Good interview. Thank you, James, for saying that. I really appreciate it. Okay. Bye, you guys.
Bye, guys.
I love you. Thank you for the love and support. And we'll have Desiree on again soon. Okay. Bye.
Bye.